going on, people? Welcome to episode 37 of the Hip Hop Orchestra Presents. And I'm joined by a really great friend of mine, the amazing fan, one of the founding members of Apex Horns, Yasmin Ogilvie. How are you, Yasmin? You okay?
Yeah, I'm all good. Thank you. And
Yeah,
you?
yeah, not too bad, thank you. Not too bad. I know how busy you've been, but how's things been though since lockdown? You been okay?
Yeah, it's been a really strange time.
Tell me about
For,
it.
obviously for everybody.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, lots of getting used to kind of different things. Obviously working loads at home. I've been
Yeah.
lucky enough to have a few bits and bobs to keep me quite busy.
Oh,
Um,
brilliant.
but yeah, it's been a
Good.
really bizarre time.
Oh,
Really
tell me
bizarre
about
time.
it now. Tell me about it now. What's it like working from home for you? Because obviously I know how busy you've been in the past. What's it like working from home now for you?
Do you know what? It's been a total mix of emotions.
Hmm.
Something that has really actually come out of this um, time has made me realize kind of uh, how much I also enjoy being at home. Like
Hmm.
I absolutely love being busy, and I love kind of running around
Yeah.
and having a variety of different things to do.
Hmm.
And I always kind of thought that that's really what I thrived on, which I think I do.
Hmm.
But I am also, it's kind of, this time had shown me how happy I am at home as well,
Yeah.
which is a really great kind of discovery for me because it's been nice to just kind of enjoy um, just lots of just day-to-day things like going
Yeah.
out for walks, kind of
Yeah.
exploring just our local area, just kind of walking around parks and um, so it's been really nice to kind of take a back seat in a way, I guess,
Yeah.
and be able to see
Yeah.
lots of things in our area.
Yeah. Can I remember when I first met you about 3, 4 years ago when I think you were kind of I think you're doing a Prince tour, weren't you, at that sort of time? This Prince tribute tour, I think it was.
Yes, you're right. I
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. Wow. When was that? About 3 years ago ish, roughly.
Yeah, so I was part of it's a band called New Purple Celebration,
Hmm.
which is like one of the big Prince tribute acts, and yeah, I was with them for about about 3 years. So when I first
Mm.
met you, I think I'd probably just started with them, but they toured kind of often,
Hmm.
um, whether it was kind of longer um, stints or just kind of here and there, but they're a very busy band.
Yeah.
So yeah, that kind of had been kind of going steadily through for kind of the last 3 years. Yeah.
Amazing. Because when I first met you, like you said, I think you had to do like 2.5 hours worth of material, didn't you? I think something ridiculous, wasn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
yeah, their gigs are they're big gigs.
Yeah.
Lots of lots of material to learn. Very horn heavy as well, which was incredible because they do all the live versions of all of his tunes. So
Amazing.
lots to do, lots to
Yeah.
learn. Really great. It was great to show me how capable I was of memorizing so
Yeah.
much in such a short space of time. And kind of, yeah, I didn't realize. Yeah, you only realize you can do something once you're pushed to do it, don't you?
Of
So,
course, yeah.
so
Can I
that
remember
was
you
nice
saying,
to find that
it,
out.
yeah. Can I remember you saying that, literally, like you just said now, that you had such a short amount of time to do such a huge repertoire of stuff. I mean, what's the mindset that you go through when you got such a huge repertoire to learn in such a short amount of time?
Um, yeah, I, I don't know really. I think everybody's is different, I guess, because it just depends how you learn. I definitely learn best by ear,
Mm.
kind of, um, rather than kind of writing things down and charting them out. I definitely learn best if I can kind of sing my part
Hmm.
or hear the parts and just kind of know what note I start on or what key
Yeah.
we're in, whatever. Then that's definitely how I learn best.
Brilliant.
It was only really a short space of time that I had to learn it in because I actually, during the time that I had to learn it in, I went to Nepal for um, for kind of a couple of weeks to to um, volunteer at an orphanage actually with my
Oh,
auntie,
wow.
which was an incredible experience. But
Yeah.
I brought my saxophone along to that so I could be kind of every morning when I woke up have a little kind of recap of everything, and I was listening a lot to the music. But yeah, it was
Amazing.
kind of a mindset of I need to learn this, so I just need to listen to it a lot and make sure I can hear all the parts, and then I
Yeah.
kind of felt comfortable that I'd be able to do
Y-
it.
Oh, brilliant.
So
How did you find it in Nepal when you actually played saxophone for them as well? How did they find that?
yeah, very. It was great. I didn't play my saxophone that much
Oh,
to the
okay.
kids. I did a little bit,
Yeah.
but I actually took out lots of recorders, um, which was great, courtesy of Wandsworth Music, which was amazing. They gave me because I work for Wandsworth Music as well, um, and so I took out lots of recorders to give to the children and started giving them
Oh,
recorder lessons
yeah.
and just kind of activities to do, and it was incredible how well and how quickly they kind of took to it because so many of them were
Mm.
so interested in music. So it was brilliant. Like they it was an incredible orphanage actually because they have so many visitors, so they had so many people kind of coming in and doing dance and drama and music lessons and all sorts of things. So it
Yeah.
was so, and their kind of thirst for learning
Mm.
was incredible, and they were also
Yeah.
supportive of each other as well, so it was a really lovely environment for them all to be um, just kind of trying out lots of things, and yeah, it was great.
Yeah, that's fantastic because I'm like you, I'm a teacher as well. I know when the kids have that kind of thirst for knowledge, that they kind of get addicted, don't they? And they get really, really shocked and excited when you show them something new, like I can do it and I can finally do it. And what was the kind of age group that you taught out there?
Oh, it was a whole range. It was a whole range
Mm.
because they have kind of they have wow, from an orphanage they have children from like the very beginning,
Yeah,
really up until they're kind of old enough to leave
yeah,
and kind of work and live by themselves. So
yeah.
it was a real mix, and kind of just left it open to the children that
Oh,
that really wanted to that really wanted to kind of have a go,
yeah.
basically. So it was
Oh,
a whole
oh.
range. You got some really young kids. They're they're just trying out, just trying to kind
Mm.
of have a go, and you had some older kids that obviously kind of had a lot more coordination, so
Yeah,
took to it a lot easier, and but we did lots of singing and things like that as well, so it was a
yeah.
real mix of just kind of doing activities.
Oh, that's so lovely to do that though, as well as take your time out then to help as well. That's really inspirational and lovely of you.
Oh well, that was all down to it was all down to my auntie Jan. Actually,
Ah,
she has a lot to do with the orphanage out there,
oh,
so I had
amazing.
to go with
Oh,
her. Really.
oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? There are things obviously I want to bring up actually in a bit of some of the incredible work that you've done, but I always love to kind of find out the start of for you, like how you got into music. I know you went to Trinity as well, but even before that, how did you get into music yourself?
I so I remember actually getting a letter at school when I went to like junior school, so it
Hmm.
was kind of years 3 to 6. And when I joined in year 3, I remember getting a letter at school saying, "Oh, we offer instrumental music lessons with a list of the instruments that they
Mm.
kind of offered for you to learn." And I remember being so excited to go home and ask my mum and dad if I could learn an instrument, and I absolutely didn't care what instrument it was. Just I was just excited to learn anything, and it was my parents that luckily said, my parents are so supportive, and
Mm.
luckily they kind of said, yeah, of course. And then they were like, what do you want to learn? I was like, oh, anything really. They were like, well, we both really like the saxophone. Do
Yeah.
you fancy having a go at that? So I was like, yeah, of course. Um, and then applied to do that. Turned up to the first lesson, and I was only 7, and also a
Yeah.
very short 7-year-old.
Oh, really?
So I walked into the first lesson, and my teacher kind of looked at me and was like, "Oh, you're gonna be too small to learn the
No
saxophone.
way.
It's too big and heavy for you." So went home. I think I was devastated when went home that day, and obviously that was just because kind of I guess just thinking I wouldn't be able to carry it, So I went home really upset, and
Oh.
luckily my mum actually went into the school and kind of fought my corner and kind of said she'll be all right. She's a strong girl, and she
Yeah.
does lots of I was doing lots of gymnastics and dancing at the time. So I think even though I looked really tiny, I was actually quite strong.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so my teacher kind of said, well, okay, if she can come into the lesson and make a sound, um, I'll teach her. And I remember just thinking, right,
Yeah.
this is my chance. Maybe just walking in and like blowing the saxophone as
Yeah.
hard as I possibly could, made a really loud kind of like pop, and then that was it.
Oh,
Got to learn,
fantastic.
and then I had a lot of kind of fortunate circumstances, I guess, where I was in kind of a group of, I think there was a group of three of us, and um, two the two boys kind of ended up stopping. Um, so I actually, just due to how it was, I had a lesson by myself, which meant kind of my progression, I guess, was a bit faster.
Yeah.
And then I applied for, I had brilliant teachers from various different things that encouraged me to enter kind of, like, we had the Portsmouth, I grew up in Portsmouth, and there was the Portsmouth Music Festival, which I kind of entered every year, so I
Yeah.
got used to performing. And from that, um, a lady, Marjorie Smale, who was my accompanist, who who's been a huge part of my musical development, encouraged us for me to audition for a scholarship,
Mm.
which I got, which
Wow.
kind of allowed me to have lessons up until the age of 18, um, kind of privately, which which was a huge which was a huge step for my development as well. Um, and then kind of went to a college that really valued music, and then ended up getting into Trinity. So
Wow.
I was just very
Yeah.
lucky that it all kind of just all these different circumstances and always
Yeah.
kind of encouraged, um, meant it just kind of flowed into that path, I guess.
Yeah, it's like it was made for you, wasn't it? That whole pathway of getting into music. It's like it's made just for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah, very, very, very lucky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and since that first official lessons, and you said when you first made that big sound, were you kind of addicted since then, since that really young age?
Yeah, I was, but I don't think I realised I was. I think it was just another, again, as I say, my parents are so supportive, um, and also my family, like my grandparents and my auntie would all go to all of mine and my sister's concerts,
Hmm.
and we both did a lot of, like, dancing and music and various things. So they were so supportive in just getting us, um, doing as much as possible, really, and
Yeah,
choosing the things that we really enjoy to do. Um, so I think I just kind of thought of it as like just this other thing that I enjoyed doing, and it was like, oh, my saxophone lessons are on this day, and then we go to band on this night, and then this night is dancing, and this night's
yeah.
gymnastics. Um, so I probably didn't occur to me
Hmm.
how much joy I was getting out of it, I guess, because it was just something
Yeah,
I was doing. But I guess the more opportunities I was being offered, the more I was kind of just part of it naturally, I guess.
yeah,
And and then it just became something that I definitely wanted to do.
yeah.
But I don't think it was kind of like I was addicted.
Oh,
It
okay.
was just always it was just always kind of there for me to do, and I always enjoyed practicing.
Yeah,
I mean, I think every child goes through
yeah.
stages,
Of
especially when
course
you
you
come
do.
into secondary school, and you start thinking like, oh, I really don't want to practice, and
Yeah.
but so I definitely went kind of through
Yeah.
bouts of being more motivated and then less kind of keen, but
Yeah, you're so right in
but
saying that everyone does it, don't they? Go through the ups and downs of wanting to practice and not practice, especially secondary
absolutely,
school.
even in
Yeah.
the professional life. Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter whether you're a child or a professional. It's everybody, I think, goes through bouts of, oh, I'm loving this, and then, oh, not
Yeah.
loving it as much at the
Yeah.
moment. And you just have to find your next thing that motivates you, I
Of
think.
course. Like, how do you kind of get over that then? When it gets obviously because you're so busy in your life, how do you get over those kind of moments of thinking, "Oh, I really can't be bothered to practice today," or do you not have time to think about this thing? I've got a lot of work to do. I can't have time to think about not practicing now.
Um, yeah, I think it totally depends on the circumstances. So a lot of the time, if you are busy,
Mm.
Um, Practice is almost a lot harder to do because it's a lot harder to fit in if you're kind of running around. But also, I guess your practice becomes um, preparing for the next thing, if
Hmm.
that makes sense, like
Yeah, yeah.
learning music for the next gig, or so the practice is kind of becomes more of a necessity, I guess, because you think, oh well, I've got to learn this music for tomorrow, and then I've got this thing next week, so I need
Yeah.
to make sure I'm kind of up to scratch. So it's more of a you just have to do it, you have to get the work done. Whereas when in times like now, I guess, where there's a lot less work,
Mhm.
um, practice kind of becomes a bit more of a great, now I can start to improve and I can. Whereas, but I guess that what comes with that is kind of a lot less focus
Mhm.
sometimes. So you kind of might have things in your head where you're like, right, I definitely need to work on this and I definitely need to work on this, and then you can kind of have a motivation to do that to some extent, and then it starts to get a little bit like, oh well, now where do I go from here? So I think
Yeah.
it totally uh, is depends on what you're doing at the time, what you need to prepare for at the time, and your mood as well.
Mm.
So it's
Very true.
um, I think also for me, I definitely realised that I'm my most happy when I've got like just lots of different things happening rather than kind of being, oh, I'm only doing this style of music or I'm only doing this thing.
Yeah.
Um, I definitely like to have lots of different things
Yeah.
to think about, and I think that for me is the thing that keeps me motivated. So things like, so I guess I work that into my practice as well. Is that, oh, I'll do
Mm.
a little bit of working on this, and then I'll do a little bit of working on this,
Yeah.
and often there'll be kind of totally different things as well. And I guess that might stem from, I did a classical music degree at Trinity, um, so I always really love going back to kind of practicing that side of things and seeing if I can still play in that way and
Yeah.
working on certain technique things that I really enjoy doing. But then a lot of the music that I've kind of got into playing now is a lot more, I guess, commercial,
Mm.
um, which is a whole, I guess, different skill set to some extent. Um, so yeah, I think
Yeah.
for me, just keeping it as versatile as possible.
Best way to be. But talking about
Yeah.
Trinity though, have you ever been back since she obviously passed from there? Like even for like the odd lesson or even giving like maybe a lesson to other people?
Have I? Do you know what? I don't think I have really.
Oh
No, I think
really?
when I kind of first, I think when I kind of first left, I had gone in a few times to do rehearsals
Hmm.
and and bits and bobs of things, but I haven't been back for years now. No,
Really?
no.
How was your time there? Did you really enjoy it there?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did. I loved it. I did. I really enjoyed it. Again, always
Yeah.
go through a roller coaster of emotions, don't you?
Yeah, of course you
Parts where
do.
you're like, this is great, and parts where you're like, oh, maybe not so much, but
Yeah.
it's very much that's, I think that's just the nature of studying, and studying something creative is you really go through um lots of kind of ups and downs with it, don't you?
Yeah, of course you do. Yeah.
Which I think is which often aids your kind of progression,
Mm.
I guess. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I also it's a 4 year course, and for my third year, I went out to Holland, to a place called the Prince Claus Conservatoire, to study. So I did my third year out there, um, and that was a fantastic experience as well, and also really, really um, kind of made me come back to Trinity with a whole new kind of excitement
Outlook.
for
Yeah.
it, and um, yeah, and all these things that I kind of wanted to make sure I achieved, and so it was really nice to actually have that year
Yeah.
that I kind of went away and experienced something slightly different, um, and be around a whole set of different people, and then come back and have that love for coming back as well.
Yeah, that's incredible. Because did every student do that at Trinity for their third year, go to a different country, or was that down to you to
No,
go somewhere else?
Uh, no, it was part of the Erasmus scheme.
Okay.
So you had to apply to do an audition. You had to then
Mm.
audition to the music college that you wanted to go to.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, so it was just kind of if you wanted to do it. And I just thought, okay, well the opportunity's there.
Yeah.
Uh, so I'll audition just in case. And I kind of had the mindset of I'll audition, but probably I won't get in anyway. So at least I tried, but
Yeah. And you
and I
got in.
never really kind of thought. And then I got in. I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll accept the place, and then as it gets nearer to the time, I can think about if I do go or not. And then kind of before I knew it, I got off a plane and I was kind of in this new place, which I'm so pleased I did. So
I'm so,
pleased I did.
no, I can
Yeah.
imagine. Like, was it like a completely different setup to what you were used to back in the UK, or was it kind of similar?
It was different in the sense um, of the town
Mm.
Groningen, where I was, is a very kind of small. It's a city, but it's a very small one, and it's very student based. So
Mm.
there were two huge universities, and there was a art school, and then there was the music school that I went to. So it was so many students in one place. Whereas studying in London, you kind of don't quite get that sense so much because I guess where when you study in London, people often live. We were lucky with Trinity in that Greenwich is very much kind of like a small area within London, I guess.
Hmm.
So lots of people lived very close to each other, and you did get that student setting. But I think wherever you study in London, people are often very kind of spaced out.
Hmm.
Um, Whereas this small city felt like a student city. And it was also a very international student city as well, which was incredible. Um, so it meant so I was living in international student halls, so it just meant I was living with people from all over the world, which was just incredible. So
Wow.
a lot of um, my experiences there came from came from all of the friends I had made and learning about where everybody had come from, and all of us like cooking food for each other from just wherever we were from, and
Yeah.
trying different things. And also the difference as well was that um, the international student halls weren't for the music school, they were just
Okay.
for everybody. So everyone I was living with were actually mainly doing law or business,
Oh,
um,
really?
which was a total change from living it at like student halls at Trinity, and then moving into a house of friends where it was like everybody was doing music. Either they were either on the jazz course or the classical course or the composition course. They were
Yeah.
kind of everybody was doing that. Um, Whereas in Holland, where I studied, it was I didn't live with anybody really from the music conservatoire. Um, it was all it was all people at the universities, which
Yeah.
again made the whole experience very different. Um, and it was amazing. Yeah, it was amazing to be around people doing something totally different as well.
Of course, what an incredible experience to go to Holland and experience a brand new thing over there. That's absolutely incredible. And do you still keep in contact with anyone from there and Trinity as well?
Yeah, yeah, I do. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I still
Oh, good.
more so from Trinity. A few people from where I studied in Holland. But
Hmm.
again, it's really I in fact actually one of my friends, Amanda, who I met while I was out there, we
Hmm.
live kind of a half-hour walk away from each other
Oh,
now.
really?
Out of total coincidence,
That's
we didn't know.
perfect.
And I message different people, but obviously after that year,
Hmm.
everybody's kind of there, or most people that I was living with were there just either for half a year or for the whole year, but were like me, who were just doing a year out of their course and then kind of going to where they were studying.
Hmm.
So it kind of meant after that strange little bubble year where we all got to be all of us from around the world all got to be together, it
Yeah.
kind of all dispersed and everybody went back to where they were studying from originally,
Hmm.
and so it obviously meant that our friendship groups
Yeah.
were made up of people from everywhere.
Everywhere.
So
Yeah.
kind of it would
Yeah.
be so hard to ever get that back together again because
Yeah.
everyone's so far away now.
Oh, oh,
But yeah, I do kind of message people. But that
good.
was I was there, I guess, almost 13 years ago now.
Wow, already.
It was a long time
Wow.
ago, yeah. So we've done well to
Oh, bloody
keep
hell of you. Yeah.
some communication open. Yeah.
Yeah. I think 13 years ago, I thought it was like a few years ago. You look so young as well. But
Oh, thank you very
it's a
much.
pleasure.
Yeah,
But
but
let's,
for community, I do keep in touch. I do keep in
oh,
touch
good.
with friends
But
from
was
there.
it around that sort of time where Epic Taunt came around, or was it kind of a few years after where they all came about?
No, Apex is only kind of, I guess we're trying to think, maybe 5 years,
Okay.
about 5 years ago, I think it is.
Oh, so still
Um,
pretty new then.
yeah,
Fairly
I
newish,
guess, I
yeah.
guess we are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
five
yeah.
years. And what was the kind of spark for you that helped you to create Apex? Obviously, we got one of the founding members. What was the kind of spark for you to say, I want to start my own horn group?
Um, do you know, it was, it actually comes back to the whole being most happy when I'm kind of doing a range of different things.
Hmm.
Um, and I found that I was kind of getting a lot of work within kind of the DJ live um, side of things, which I really enjoy. And kind of straight out of studying, I was lucky enough to get a job with Head Candy, which is part of
I
Ministry
know
of
how
Sound.
can do,
So
yeah.
um, I spent quite a few years kind of touring with them, which meant it was often me and a DJ.
Hmm.
Sometimes it would be three of us, sometimes it would be a percussionist, saxophone, DJ, and was incredibly lucky to visit lots and lots of different places around the world. Um, but that was kind of every single weekend I was away with them, and so it kind of didn't leave a huge amount of time to be able to take other work, I guess. Um, so so I started to become aware that I was doing that, and that maybe I'd like to have something else with that as well.
Hmm.
Also, often as a musician, you want to be playing with lots of other musicians
Of
as well.
course.
Um, so I was kind of starting to get, yeah, I noticed I was very much getting booked for lots of kind of DJ based work. Um, and so I just kind of wanted to, I guess, expand that, um, because when I was getting kind of like party function bands and things like that, I was loving them, um, and am really loving doing things in a horn section as well. Um, so I was working already a lot with Lily Karasik, who is trumpet player, who is the other founding member of
Yeah.
Apex Horn,
I know Lily, yeah.
and because we were doing a band called High on Heels together, um, and so yeah, people kind of just like, if ever people kind of ask me for, oh, have you also got a trumpet player that you like to work with, kind of like I would always say Lily.
Yeah.
And then somebody kind of just said once, like, oh, like you should be an actual horn section, just because it makes sense for you to kind of have a name and go out as a horn section. And I kind of thought about it, was like, well, we kind of, I guess we kind of are.
Yeah.
I always put her forward for things, and
Hmm.
she would be my person I want to work with. And then the more I thought about it, the more it was like, oh yeah, we should actually, just so that we've got something to bring to people. And I was already on the mindset of, I want to expand my work as well. Um, so yeah, we just decided to. We started out as a three,
Hmm.
um, uh, with Emma Frampton as well. So two saxes and trumpet, and then Emma got very busy because she went off on tour with River Dance, and we found that we were getting asked to do quite a lot of stuff with two of us as well. So now we really like to have, it's kind of, Apex has kind of become the two of us, but it's great to have. Um, we've done a lot of things with a third horn player, and it's really nice to see how we work with kind of different third members, because it obviously changes. Lily and I know are playing so well together, but we obviously change depending on who we're playing with as
Mhm.
well, and fit in with different people, and that makes it really exciting. And
Yeah,
and we learn so much from playing with different horn players as well. And
of
um,
course.
so yeah, I guess that was kind of the reasoning behind it, was to expand kind of both of our work. And I started to think, oh, I'd love to do more things, a lot of work where maybe artists or different bands want a horn section to just add to certain tracks, or to certain tours, or to certain, or whatever that might be, or if they want recording horns on it. So we kind of really worked hard to to practice towards that, and we both kind of write and arrange horn parts. And
Oh,
um, yeah, so I guess it was the thought of wanting lots of variety, was kind of and
brilliant.
also the enjoyment, the kind of realization how much I enjoy playing in a horn section, that made us kind of start it properly, I guess.
Oh, and what's the biggest it's gone to in terms of members at one time?
Uh, Only three.
Only three.
Yeah, but we
Okay.
have done things with more,
Mhm.
with larger sections where we've both been playing in it. But I guess kind of as an apex, the
It's
biggest
a
it's been
three.
is a three
Ah,
piece. Yeah,
brilliant. And through
yeah.
Apex, obviously you've done so much in your career so far already. What have been some of your favorite moments within Apex? 'Cause there are other things I want to obviously bring up in the future as well later on in the podcast. But within Apex, what's been some of your favorite moments so far in terms of events that you've done?
Well, all sorts really. Like the whole beginning stage was so much fun, of us kind of deciding on what direction we wanted to take, and us all getting into to kind of writing. We were just kind of um, taking tracks that didn't have horns on them, and experimenting by writing horn parts to them, and and getting like lots of recordings done, and just learning a lot about that side of things, and improving that side of things as well. um, and then I think for probably both of us, one of our favorite things that we've done in most recent times is the George Ezra Tour, which is what
Yeah.
we were on last week. And that was a prime example of where we joined um, another horn player who was already on the tour, Matt Benson, who is an absolutely incredible trombonist. Um, and that was in like, it was just amazing to join him, and he taught us so much, and he is um, and it was just so, we all just clicked so well. So our
Mhm.
playing, um, I think, went really well together.
Yeah.
um, and it was brilliant to see how we would, how it kind of made us evolve as well. But also that tour, it was, we were really lucky in that um, horns were used a lot, so we had a lot to do as part of the band, which was amazing. And the band are incredible, and
Yeah.
everybody involved were were just like lovely humans. So
Yeah.
it was the best. It was kind of the best experience. Basically,
That's something.
it was just such a lovely thing to be part of.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
good. I wanted to ask you about that as well. Actually, how long was the tour in the end? Was it quite long or fairly
So we
short?
joined. Lily and I joined in right at the end of February. I think
Okay.
February last year.
Hmm.
Um, and it kind of all, our last shows were September,
Oh
mid
wow.
September. I think we finished off, the whole tour finished off with two shows at the Albert Hall, which was
Oh
incredible.
my. Yeah, I saw that. How was that?
Yeah, it was brilliant. So
So
good.
that's my dream venue to perform at. I mean, to perform there
Yeah,
yourself, what was that like though? What Albert Hall?
yeah, it was amazing. It was
Uh,
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, like dream come true.
Yeah. And did you perform at Glastonbury as well with George
Yeah,
Ezra? Yeah.
yeah. So that
Pyramid
was,
stage was
we
it?
kind of got to tick quite a few things off the bucket list, which was amazing.
Amazing. What was that like, Glastonbury?
That was it was really surreal. It was
Yeah.
very surreal. It was incredibly nerve-wracking
Yeah.
before we went on, and then kind of as soon as we were on stage, I couldn't stop smiling.
Don't
Basically,
blame
I
me.
remember halfway through the set thinking, like, you need to stop smiling. You're just insane. So So just try and make your face a bit more normal. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just so happy
I thought,
through the whole set.
don't blame me because it must be like must be hard for you to play then. Like you can't stop
Yeah.
smiling.
But
But
yeah, brilliant.
yeah, oh, so happy to hear that. I'm really proud of you. Can you obviously sharing on Instagram, thinking, "Oh my god, that's amazing. That is
Yeah.
so good."
Yeah,
But yeah,
we couldn't believe our luck when we joined George's band, because
yeah.
it was, yeah, from start to finish, it was kind of perfect, really. We just had such a brilliant time.
Oh, mate, and you mentioned your bucket list as well. What other things that did you tick off your bucket list during that tour?
Well, because it was an arena tour,
Yeah.
um, just playing at all of those venues, really, just kind of doing. We did a couple of nights at the O2 Arena, and it was sold out. And our first gig with him actually were the Brit Awards, so
Oh my God.
that was very nerve-wracking, and that was with Hot 8 brass band as well, which again was another incredible um, part of the tour, being able to play with them. And they actually supported us on our European tour, so there were times we got to jam with them, and it was just yeah, just learning a lot from them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was great.
That is so good. I mean, when you get to perform at these obviously world renowned venues, packed out as well. I mean, what's the feeling like when you're there and you see like all these thousands of people, like even singing some of the lyrics back and you're playing, and what's the whole experience like for you?
Yeah, it's just really, it's unbelievable, to be honest. Like, even when you first go in and kind of sound check at a venue, that is really overwhelming. Just
Yeah.
kind of seeing an empty arena and seeing how many kind of seats there are, and just how big the space is. Um, and then often hearing when the the sound crew are testing bits and bobs out, and you can hear little parts back of maybe like last night's gig or something, how it sounds in such a big space is overwhelming as
Yeah.
well. um and then yeah, walking out on stage and kind of seeing everybody. The thing is, obviously everybody is there. What takes a little bit of the pressure off is that obviously everybody is there to watch George. So I
Yeah.
can't imagine how he feels
Yeah.
in that situation. Um, but but that obviously takes a little bit of the pressure off of us.
Yeah.
Um, but it is incredible to see so many people enjoying the music, and kind of like moments where people would all be like shining their phone lights.
Phones.
It
Yeah.
really kind of makes you see how many people there are as well. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was just mad.
I mean, you mentioned like obviously just then of that you weren't sure how he would feel. Did you manage to talk to him at any point and ask him, say, what's it like for you as kind of like the main act? Everyone's coming to see you. Did you have a chance to ask him that?
He's just he's a very, very relaxed man. So
Yeah.
he kind of he was incredible at just being able to take it all in his stride,
Yeah.
and just be and just be so calm. He would always just kind of walk on stage. He would sound the same basically every day. Like he just sounded great every gig. Kind of, he always did so well, um, and yeah, and he just always just had this kind of calm. I think very focused as well. He was always very
Hmm.
focused, and just a real like calmness about the whole thing. So he was, yeah, I guess must be the way to deal with it, because
Definitely. Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, there are a couple of other bits I want to bring up as well, actually. I mean, you had the chance to perform for the legend himself, Quincy Jones, didn't you?
Yes, yeah. Although
God.
we didn't know. We kind of heard there was like a on um on someone's walkie-talkie right before the gig, kind of in the band room. We heard somebody say, "Oh, um, Quincy Jones is asking if he can sit. I don't know, asking if he could sit somewhere. I think maybe to the side of the stage or something." And the whole
Whoa.
band kind of heard that walkie-talkie,
Yeah.
and our tour manager actually was incredible and just jumped in straight away and went, "Oh no, that's there's a DJ here that goes by that name, not the real Quincy Jones,"
Yeah.
because I think he realised how much pressure we
Yeah,
would all
yeah.
feel if that didn't.
I
So
must have asked,
we
mate.
all just like brushed it off. We're like, okay, and it was right before we started as well, so we all just kind of stopped thinking about it.
Oh my God.
It was
Yeah.
at Montreux Jazz Festival, and then at the end of the gig, kind of we got a knock on our door. Lily and I, um, like we're always in the dressing room together, and um, and yeah, we got a knock on our door saying Quincy Jones would like to meet the horn section, and George had arranged that as well, which was
Oh,
with him. So we got to yeah, we got to about until that point we didn't actually. We kind of had tried to forget about it and didn't believe he was there, kind of thing.
yeah. I mean, 'cause I saw the picture, obviously, of you with him. I mean, what was it like to actually talk to him, though? Were you really starstruck, or was he
Yeah,
really like?
I didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
I was so starstruck. I couldn't believe. 'Cause I just hadn't imagined that that would be happening, so I couldn't believe that he was really encouraging. He was really, yeah, he was really lovely about the gig, really lovely about the horn section, um, and 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 was just a really nice person to speak to. So it was, yeah,
Yeah,
it was
that's
great.
yeah, great. Because it must give you the biggest buzz when someone like of that standard is telling you how good you are and how fantastic you are. Thinking, wow, like if Quincy Jones is saying it about me, I must be good then. Obviously, I know how good you are, but that's a legend saying that to you. It must give you the biggest buzz.
Well, it was just it was it was it was just very the whole thing was all just very unbelievable, really.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it was we were all uh, having a really fun time on stage.
Mm.
Like we all really enjoyed being on stage, and for Lily and I, like everything we were doing
Hmm.
was always brand new. Like every venue was always brand new for us, and so the excitement kind of never went away,
Hmm.
because it's not like it was never a point like, oh, we've done all of this before. It was always like, oh my god, and now we're here, and oh
Yeah.
my goodness, now we're doing this thing, and so that, and I think, um, but I think that was the enjoyment kind of span throughout the whole band, definitely, but also throughout I think the whole crew as well. Everybody was all just very happy and friendly and enjoying. We were all enjoying our job basically.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of, well, I like to think that
Mm.
that like kind of portrayed on stage, and I think that's what kind of made um, made it really nice as well. Is that I think we all everybody looked like they were really enjoying themselves.
Yeah. We mentioned in a different episode as well, where when you're having fun on stage, that does show, doesn't it, to the audience as well. And when you're
Yeah,
having fun, they have more fun time, don't they? I've realized as well.
absolutely, and I think that's such as a as a musician that's on stage. I think that's such a big part
Yeah.
of it because you're doing a performance and people want to watch. You want to go whenever you go to a gig. You want to watch that person having a good time. So
Yeah.
I think that's a really important part of performing to people is is showing how much enjoyment you're getting from it. Because I think just naturally, as humans, we like laughing is infectious, isn't it? So
Yeah.
like, naturally, you want to see people having a good time, and it lifts your own spirits.
Mm-hmm. 100%. 100%. But moving on from there, another legend I want to ask you about is the man himself, Brian May. What was that? What was that like?
Yeah, again,
Another
another
one.
very
Like,
surreal experience that I never expected to get. But yeah, I was really lucky, and he was just a lovely man. Um, yeah, we were really lucky to record for a band called King's Daughters,
hmm.
um, and um, Brian was producing and actually played guitar on one of their tracks, Get Up, which Apex got to go record on as well.
Amazing.
So um, so because Brian was producing it, we went to, it was being done in his home, in his
Hmm.
studio, so kind of got to go there, and he was just really really lovely, very relaxed, very, again, very encouraging, very uh yeah,
Yeah.
just very happy for, like, the band, and he obviously knew what they wanted, but also really open to suggestions and wanted us to put our ideas across as well, which was really lovely. Um, and so it was just a really fun day.
Oh, brilliant. And when
Yeah.
you get to work with these legends, how much you must you must learn so much from all of them as well, especially when you get to work with them and talk to them afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's just it's, but also so much of what you learn as well is just kind of just seeing just seeing their manner, and just thinking like how how encouraging they've been, and how like great and excited that's made me feel about music, and how inspiring just that
Hmm.
is a is such a big is such a big thing. And so it really kind of shows you as well how your attitude to people can really affect people.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but
Br-
we've been, it was, yeah, very inspiring to meet both
Yeah.
of them.
I mean, I could talk to you all day about the people you've worked with, like other people like Michael Bublé as well, and Fleur East, McFly. We could be here all day, but I know how busy you are. But one thing I want to ask you about as well, actually, is about your experiences at some legendary venues such as Pinewood and Maidaville Studio. Because I performed at Maidaville as well with my orchestra. But how was it for you to actually record at these places for you? How was that?
Well, Maid of Vale was that, I've only actually recorded there once, and it was years and years ago. It was actually when I was in my first year of Trinity,
Mm,
and I've always very much had the mindset of, you know, take take lots of opportunities, um, because it's just so nice to be involved with so many different things, and you always meet lots of interesting people. So when I first joined, uh, when I first started studying,
yeah.
there was there was like this advert, this email, like within the internal student email that went out, um, of somebody starting. It was called the London Breakbeat Orchestra,
Hmm. I
which is
know them. Yeah,
breakbeat
yeah,
music
yeah.
from an orchestra. So I kind of replied. It was in my first few months of joining, I think. Replied being like, "Oh, I'd love to join." Um, so I got to join that band, which was so much fun.
Yeah.
And they had a session actually with like a live recording
Hmm.
with Annie Nightingale, um, at Maida Vale Studio, which, so that was my first. That was really my first time really even being in a studio, let alone in a kind of major studio, I guess. Um, so it was just great fun. It was a huge learning curve
Yeah.
for me, like turning up and having my own microphone,
Hmm.
and having playing with headphones on, and kind of, it was, yeah, it was kind of like my first experience of all of that.
Yeah.
Um, so just, yeah, very exciting, very
Amazing.
exciting. I think I kind of probably didn't quite realize what, like, how exciting it was, I guess, because I was
Hmm.
just new to everything, and
Yeah.
kind of just, it got, just happened, just again,
Mm.
luck I was in that position, and that I'd answered that email, and I'd kind of joined that band. So it
Yeah.
was, yeah,
So it's
great
like,
fun.
yeah, it's like I was saying earlier. It seems like this whole life has been made for you because like you've had so many amazing experiences and you're so good at what you do. And I, ca- I I'm just so proud of everything that you've done in your life. You've done such an amazing job at everything. I'm so proud of you. Like, I really
Oh,
am.
thank
But it's my pleasure. But I'm glad you said about the learning curve as well because I always have to finish off the podcast with asking the guests sort of their best lessons that they've learned in their journey so far. So, what have been your sort of best lessons that you've learned so far over your years of performing and studying?
you. Yeah, well, I think probably one of the main lessons is to just be like as easy as you can be to work with,
Hmm.
because that's just a huge part of it. And I've learned that, as I said, from meeting other people
Hmm.
and seeing how their attitudes can make you feel, um, which even without kind of hearing any sort of playing or musicianship, that is a huge thing.
Mm.
Is if somebody inspires you to work harder or carry on or feel. I think something very much with George's tour was how valued I felt, and I think how valued everybody felt, which just created a really happy environment for everybody. Um, so yeah, I think that's a huge lesson
Mm.
of just kind of just being as easy as possible to be around.
Yeah.
Um, but also, I think taking take you often have to really try and make opportunities for yourself
Hmm.
and taking different opportunities. But something that really stuck with me actually was my teacher when I was studying, Gerard McChrystal. Um, he he was such a fantastic teacher, and especially for how I work. I work so much from. I learn so much from listening to things and playing along with people. And yeah, I definitely learn using my ear,
Hmm.
very much so. Um, and so and so studying with him was incredible because he would always be playing along with me and demonstrating things. And um, but I remember it was in my fourth year. It was actually right before my final recital, which kind of made up a huge part of my final degree mark. And I walked into one of my final lessons. I walked in kind of all happy, and he kind of went, Yasmin, are you going out a lot at the moment? And I was a bit
Yeah.
like kind of taken back by it.
Yeah.
Thinking, oh really?
Surprised.
Uh, I guess I am going out. I am going. It's the end of nearly finished studying. I am
Yeah.
enjoying all of my time with all my friends and
Hmm.
being
Yeah.
being here before we all kind of start to go our separate ways. And I kind of had thought, oh no, does he think I'm not practicing enough? Am I not focusing enough? I thought he was kind of almost going to tell me off. So I was kind of like a bit sheepishly. I kind of just was like, "Mm,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I guess I am going out quite a lot." And he just went, "Good. That's exactly what you have to do." He was like, so many people can play their instruments very well. Like
Mhm.
it it's people. You have to work hard. People work hard, but you have to also be out there, and you have to be socializing. You have to be meeting people, and you have to be easy to get along with.
Mhm.
And he used the example. He was like, you could go on tour, and if you don't, and if you really keep yourself to yourself, and kind of don't make an effort with people, then next time that tour comes around, they might just find somebody else that can play the part just as well as you,
Yeah.
that might be a little bit more fun to be around. Or
Mhm.
so that advice really stuck with me. It also gave me permission to carry on
Yeah.
partying, which was
Good.
great. And it's
Yeah.
really stuck with me. But it was
Yeah.
really the best advice, because I think music is
It
such a
is.
social thing.
Mhm.
um, and obviously everybody needs their own space, and often when you're away a lot with people, away
Mhm.
from home, and you're kind of non-stop together, that can be a very difficult thing. um, and it's really important to know when you need your own space, and also recognize when other people need their own space, and
Yeah.
and and leave people to doing their own things, and making sure you have time out as well. But but it is also so important to make sure you do get involved with people, and show an interest in other people, and be pleasant to be around,
Mm.
because as you say, when you are on tour, you are only with these people, so they become your family at that point. So
Yeah.
you want to make it as easy and enjoyable for each other as you possibly can. So that, yeah,
Definitely.
that advice has really stuck with me.
Yeah, I literally I couldn't agree more because I've learned that as well. That just being nice with everyone and just being the best you can be to get on with everyone is the best thing, isn't it? Because when you're going on tour with people, like you said, and the rest of it, you don't want to be not awkward, but make the whole situation quite uncomfortable. So that advice there is perfect. I couldn't agree more. And I love to finish on a really positive note like that. So Yasmin, thank you so much for being a part of the podcast today. It was so lovely chatting to you today and catching up.
Oh no, it's been great to be
Thank you.
involved. Thank you for thinking of me. It's
That's my
really lovely.
pleasure. Thank you so much. I could have spoken for much longer, but I'm gonna leave it right there, I think. But thank you so much. Such a good episode. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right then.
Uh,
Well,
bye. Take care, everyone.
bye.
Bye.